What's up everybody, it's me, Tony Closebus. Welcome back to my channel. And it's Non-Fiction Friday today. Let's go ahead and tell you what the book I'm doing today. So the book I am talking about today is one of my favorite books in the nonfiction realm, and that is Taking the Lead, Lessons from a Life in Motion by Derek Hough. Now, I said in my 20 Things About Me video, one of my very first videos, that I'm a big fan of Dancing with the Stars. So it's only natural that I have this book in my possession, since Derek Hough, for those of you that don't know, is a professional dance partner on Dancing with the Stars, and he's easily my favorite professional partner on the show. I got this book as a Christmas gift, not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before last, and I did read it about a year ago, but it's not something that I have to go too much in detail about because it's not a story per se. It's kind of like an autobiography slash memoir slash self-help book. That's what this is. Kind of an amalgam of all those things. So I feel confident enough about talking about it, even though I read it last year. One of the reasons I enjoy this book so much is because since Derek is such a public icon and I look up to him so much, I consider him a role model, what I really liked about this book was getting to know him, and just getting to know him was such a nice thing about this book. You know, you learn things, like that's the good thing about autobiographies and memoirs and things like that. You learn about the author, and I learned so much about Derek that I didn't think I ever would know, or that I think would ever have happened to him. You know, he's talked about he's been bullied from when he was a little kid, and honestly, what person hasn't been bullied when they were little? So it's kind of, you know, relatable in that sense. And, you know, he talked about stigmas of male dancers, which, you know, exists, and he's talked about, you know, training that goes into being a professional dancer, which is so grueling and so intense, and especially, you know, from doing it from such a young age. And of course, to top it all off, you know, his parents got divorced, and, you know, just everything that a child goes through when their parents get divorced. He's overcome so much. He's had so much in his life already, and he's overcome it with just this genuinely positive attitude, and that's another thing that's really enjoyable about this book. Derek is such a genuinely upbeat and positive person, and I know a lot of people are, and to be honest, this is really one of the only, like, autobiography memoir books I've ever read, so I don't have a really strong basis for comparison, but it's the most enjoyable, positive book about a person's life that I've ever read. And it's just so great to see him be at a point in his life where he's like, I can accept that that's happened to me, and I can look at that and only see the positive that came out of that negative situation. And he's accomplished so much, and he's only 30. Like, that's kind of crazy, and it's inspiring to me because I've done so much at 30 that I want to be like him, honestly. And just a brief list of a lot of things that he's done and accomplished. You know, he's won Dancing with the Stars 6 times. That's literally the most any professional in any international form of the show has won. He's won 2 Emmys, and he's gotten a number of nominations. He's performed in the West End in London. He's performed in Broadway. He's going back to Broadway very soon. He became an under 21 world champion some years ago. I can't remember. It's in the book, but I can't remember exactly when. So he's done so much, and it's so inspiring because during all those times, you know, something conflicting was happening, something negative was happening, and he overcame it with just the best positive attitude ever. Now, I did say this is a self-help book, and honestly, recently, I've discovered self-help books are something that I need in my life. Just take a gander at all the self-help books I have right now. And what Derek does is he dedicates about the last page or page and a half, at most page and a half, of his chapters to something called leading lessons. And basically what that does is whatever he's learned in that specific situation that happened in that chapter that he was talking about, you know, kind of the moral of the story, he makes it a little more applicable to the reader. So, you know, just here, let me read you an example. The chapter that I'm reading from, it's called Change Partners in Dance. And, you know, dancers, they have professional partners, and sometimes they change, sometimes they, you know, it's just a natural part of, you know, professional dancers' career. One of his partners said, "I don't want to work with you anymore." And his first leading lesson is rejection is just an illusion. It's all in your head. He tells you that if you're feeling rejected, you're looking at all things all wrong. Just because someone says no, just because someone chooses another person over you doesn't mean you're not good enough. There isn't one successful person out there that hasn't racked up his or her fair share of rejection. That said, no one likes hearing no, but what are you going to do with that no? Are you going to let it destroy your self-esteem, or are you going to keep pushing forward and follow your passion? That's just a brief part of the book, but it's such an important part, you know, of life, that, you know, you just learn about rejection and all that stuff. But that's just an example of the kind of leading lessons he has in this book. And those leading lessons honestly were my favorite part of the book. I love a lot of things about this book, but the leading lessons were the thing I look forward to in every chapter. He wants people to better themselves. He wants people to be the best version of themselves that they can be. He's willing to give that advice to anybody who's listening, and I think it's pretty solid advice. Well, I think that's all I can really say about this book. Once again, it's Taking the Lead, Lessons from a Life in Motion by Derek Hough. I will say, if you know Dancing with the Stars and you know Derek, I definitely suggest this. I'm not gonna say everybody needs to read this book, because if they don't know who Derek is, then why? If they don't like Dancing with the Stars, or they don't like Derek for whatever reason, I'm not gonna say, hey, you should read this book. But if you know Derek Hough, if you know Dancing with the Stars, or you watched this video and you thought, hey, that sounds like a cool book, then I'd go ahead and tell you that you should go read it. It was a great read. It was really just so good. And, you know, I can't really critique a self-help book or an autobiography. Like, I don't know how you can critique that, so I have no cons to this book. So yeah, there you go. That was today's Non-Fiction Friday, excuse me. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a big old thumbs up. I'll appreciate that if you do. If you want to see me do more fiction or non-fiction Fridays, then go ahead and hit subscribe, and you'll never miss one. I just want to say something about Fiction Friday. I made an official executive decision about it. I am dedicating the first Friday of every month to Fiction Friday. And the reason for that is book reviews are one of the bigger reasons why I wanted to start doing YouTube, and the fact that I haven't done that many is kind of a little upsetting to me, but doing them every week was getting a little tedious, and I didn't want to talk about a book that I had, you know, read so long ago and didn't remember all the details, even though that's what I'm doing today, to be honest. And it just got a little taxing for me. I wanted to make sure that these reviews were the best that they could be, so the first of every month sounded like the best choice for me, because it'll give me enough time to read a book, but it'll also let me post book reviews on a regular basis and kind of fit my brand. I post new videos every Wednesday, and now every first Friday of the month. Now that's all I have for you guys today, so I will see you on Wednesday. Bye!